Hey, music teacher friends, this is Pam Wilson from Music in the Center. I am here today to talk to you about taking care of your classroom instruments. I hear from a lot of new teachers that when they get to a school, they're always shocked at the condition that their instruments are in. Well, not always, but a lot of times. So you come into a school and, maybe you've got some xylophones, but there's bars missing, or there are, the little nails or whatever are broken off, or maybe you've got rhythm sticks, but they're all like chipped and broken and or you've got finger cymbals, but they don't have the little hangy things, so you can't really use them. So what do you do when you are faced with this kind of situation? And how do you avoid getting in that situation, every year? So this is what we're here for today. All right, I'm going to give you some top 10 things that you can do to take care of your instruments. Number 1, teach your children to take care of the instruments. It is true. The kids know, don't mess with the instruments. Now, if something breaks accidentally, they know to come to me. They know to bring it to me. They know it's not a problem as long as you let me know. If you break it on purpose, we have a real problem. And I have not been shy about charging the parent for the broken thing. It's true. I remember one time when I had a child just destroy a little glockenspiel, and I told the kid, I said, that's about $300 and your parent will now have to pay for that. And he was like, what? I said, yep, because your choices, your parents are not going to be happy. And sure enough, I made a bill and I sent it to the parents and they had to replace that instrument. So teach your children to take care of them. Now, here's the other good thing is that we have some teachers at my school who have actually, here's kind of a fun thing. If you have teachers at your school who went to your school, it's really fun to say, do you see these xylophones? Miss so-and-so and Miss so-and-so played these exact instruments when they went to school here. And they're like, what? That's crazy. It's true. So they really understand that these instruments are kind of a legacy and they will always take care of them. Number 2, use bins and baskets and cases if you have certain things. So if I don't teach ukulele, but a lot of you do, if you have ukuleles, have a case or a rack or something where they can be safely kept and not bumped and bothered so that the kids can take care of them nicely. If you have any other kind of hand percussion, you need to have some kind of a basket or a bin or something that's hopefully labeled. So number 1, the kids understand what the name of it is and know what the name of the instrument is and also know where to put it back. What organizers have found, especially in homes as well as schools, that if you set up a system where the kids can manage the stuff, they will manage the stuff. Now you have to hold them accountable. You have to say, someone did not put away their maraca. Who will help us with this maraca? Making sure that they put them away. The way that I do that is I have the kids choose their instruments for a lot of activities, especially play-alongs and that kind of thing. But when I have them put them away, I call them by instrument. If you are holding a güiro, please put that away. If you are holding a hand drum, please put that hand drum away. And I teach them how to put them away safely, especially hand drums. That's a big deal. The one thing that COVID taught us is number 3, clean your instruments periodically. I always have my 4th graders, and I don't know why it's 4th graders, they're great helpers, and they're enough independent that they can really help, as they clean our instruments at the end of the year. They oil things and clean things and sweep things out and put them away into my closet the last week of school. But flu and cold and COVID season is a thing, and with the entire school touching all the things, you may want to have a team of kids. I usually don't do it myself, but I have a team of kids that at the end of each quarter, each grading period, they might come in and just wipe everything down. They love it, actually. And, some little candies or stickers or something are also a great payment for the kids to do that sort of thing. There are kids who just like to help, but that's a great idea to have either parents or children come in periodically and just wipe everything down. Now, your wooden instruments are very susceptible to big changes in temperature and big changes in moisture. If you have a room that has a lot of moisture or a lot of changes, you might want to ask your PTA or your administration for a dehumidifier to kind of keep your classroom about the same humidity throughout the year. That can be a little tricky. If it's dry, like if you live in the desert and it's always dry, no problem. When I moved to Las Vegas, my piano tuner, for example, said, you don't need this humidifier thing because it's always dry here. And I went, oh, okay. But when I moved back to Northern Virginia, they were like, yeah, you probably need that. Otherwise, everything's going to warp. Well, same thing with our classroom instruments. So just be aware of that and try to keep them in an area that the temperature is pretty steady and the moisture is pretty steady. Tip number 5 is label and organize your instruments. I already talked about putting labels on your baskets and bins for the unpitched instruments, but if you have ukuleles or guitars or even big xylophones, I highly recommend numbering them. There's some very nice labeling pens and things that you can put the labels on. When I taught orchestra, we labeled all the cases for all the string instruments and that kind of thing. So this is a pretty typical thing to do. Then you know if one gets damaged or one is missing, which one it is. And if you assign certain numbers to certain kids, you can be like, oh, that kid, that's right. I need to talk to their parent. Where's their ukulele? Periodically, you need to just go through your instruments and check for broken parts. We've been getting out the hand drums lately, and I've noticed that the kids are messing with the screws. We have tunable hand drums, the Studio 49 brand, and I've noticed that the kids are messing with the screws, and so we had to have a conversation. Oh, this is very loose. Please do not change these screws. I've set them to a certain place. This is what they should be. Same thing with bongo drums. They have a nut that's inside that if they get really wonky and wobbly, it's just harder for the kids to play, and eventually they're going to fall apart. You're going to lose the screws and so forth. So just check them periodically and make sure that they are in good repair. One thing I recommend is having a small toolkit at school. In mine, I have a couple of different screwdrivers. I have some pliers so that if it's hard to turn something, I can turn something. I have some wood glue. I have some super glue. I have a hot glue gun. And then in addition, I have some bits and parts and whatnot. So I have like tubing for my xylophones. I have a set of nails. You can get all of that from West Music and I'll leave that link in the comments so that if you're not aware of them, you can order a set of that repair stuff for yourself. So I have a set of repair pieces for each kind of xylophones and for each of my glockenspiels. Number 7 is replace consumables. But what are consumables? So it's things like recorder cleaning rods. I don't really use those very much, but you might. Maybe you need strings for your ukuleles or guitars. Maybe you need some extra mallets. It's always a good idea if a mallet gets broken or something happens to it to be able to pull another one out of a bin and go ahead and use it. So you should probably have a couple of extras of things like that. So replace your consumables. Make sure you've got some backups. Number 8 has to do with recorders. If you teach recorder in your school, make sure that you never share recorders without sanitizing those mouthpieces. I don't allow sharing in my class at all. The kids actually own their recorders. We don't share them. Although I have been at schools when I taught in Las Vegas, for example, the school provided a classroom set. They were assigned a particular recorder, and after class, I was expected to wash them and clean them, and you might be in an area like that as well. So make sure that they're properly sanitized, following all the protocols that your particular school district uses. The top rack of the dishwasher works pretty well, although I've heard if you do not put the heat sensor on, you can actually use the entire dishwasher. Dishwashers actually do a really good job of sanitizing, although some districts still require a bleach bath afterwards. This takes me back to my days when I was a high schooler and I worked in a very small restaurant, and I was the dishwasher, and we had to wash, and then we had to rinse in bleach, and then we had to rinse, and that was how we washed dishes. We didn't have a fancy dishwasher like that, but that's old time stuff. All right, let's say that your drum heads are starting to split or they have little holes in it. Again, please teach your children how to take care of the instruments, because that will get avoided. But even when I teach them very carefully, I found a drum head with a little dunk in it, and it was an object lesson. I was like, kids, this is what happens. See, this has a hole. They're like, oh my gosh. So what I do is I take some clear tape, and I know it does impact the sound of the drum a little bit, but I use some packing tape on the backhand side, and I just make sure that that hole is covered. Almost every time I have a kid come to me and say, this drum head, this is split. And I go, thank you for letting me know, just use the other side. If it's split on one side and it's just a little teeny tiny split, it is fine to use that drum. Eventually, you may need the drum head changed out. They're not cheap if you have good quality drums, but make sure that you do keep an eye on those and notice if they're, purposefully being broken or if it might just be wear and tear on the drum. All right, we're up to number 10. When do you actually replace something and when can you repair it? Well, I always try to repair things first. We have a repair service in our school district. I'm in kind of a big school district, and so we have a contract with one of our local music stores, and they do the kind of repairs that I can't do. Something is truly, truly broken and it's more than $75. We can send it in to get it repaired. Now, it often takes, months to get it back. I don't understand why, but it does takes months. So there are certain things that I just do. I mentioned earlier that I get a repair kit for my xylophones from West Music. I just have that. I know how to repair that kind of stuff. I took wood shop, metal shop, whatever when I was in school. I like to do tinkering kind of repair things. That's me. You may have a parent who is able to do that if you are not a repair person yourself, or you might have somebody in your school who actually can do that kind of stuff for you. So if you can make tiny repairs, little repairs, then just do that. For example, the little tail piece, if you will, on the Wiro often falls off. You can just get some wood glue, stick that back on, and it will be fine. So things like that you can probably do. I have some small classroom hand cymbals, and I looked up online how to create handles for them because mine didn't have any handles. And so I actually bought some fake leather and I learned how to tie the knot, which was quite a challenge, but I did it. And now those hand cymbals can be used in my classroom. Same thing for finger cymbals. You can get yarn, you can get elastic, and you can feed those through the finger cymbals and tie them up at the top, and now you've got finger cymbals that work. So there's some very simple repairs that you can do, and the smaller instruments that are pretty inexpensive, less than $20, less than even $50, if they are truly, truly broken, like somebody broke a maraca and it's got a hole in it, you're not going to fix that. Just put it in the trash and buy some new maracas, get some from your PTA or your school. There are lots and lots of ways of finding money, and I have a free guide for you about smart spending. So please, in the comments, if you would like that guide, just put spending in the comments and I will send that out to you. But you can find money lots of different ways. There's grants, there's PTA, there's the budget from your school, there are Amazon wish lists, there's clear the list Facebook groups and that kind of thing. So there's lots of different places where you can find some support and get the things that you need for your classroom. So that's my top 10 of how to take care of your instruments in your classroom. We've been joined by my kitty cat, Ella. So everybody say hello, Ella, in the chat. And you can actually do a lot with taking care of your instruments. Your children deserve it. You deserve it. There's no reason in the world why you have to deal with broken things. Just take some time and invest that time to make sure that your instruments are in good repair, and that will really help to raise the quality of your program.